Hello, my fellow programmers. Welcome to the Programmer's Shield channel. In this exciting installment of Mastering C Programming course, we are going to learn about decision-making statements and logical and rational operators. So let's get started. So firstly, we are going to review the topics for today's class. So these are the topics for today's class. Conditional statements, if, else, switch, and working with logical and relational operators. So let's start with the conditional statements, which means decision-making statements. So open your compiler, C++, and let's get started. Now I have to erase this code here. Yes, so let's get started. So first of all, we have to understand what is conditional statements. Conditional statements means we put some condition, the statement that applies some condition. So here in programming we use if. It has a syntax. So let's take an example from our real life. If we in our real life, if we take some decision on the basis of certain conditions, so we use this. So let's take an example. If I completed my math homework, I will be allowed to play outside. So in this phrase, in this sentence, I have to complete the condition is I have to complete my math homework. And if the condition is true, if I completed my math and homework, then I will be allowed to play outside. Same in the program. So let's see the syntax of if. So this is the syntax of if. In these braces, we write condition, and here we write code. And this code executed only if the condition is true. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's see this thing practically. Int x is equal to 0, and here we go. Yes, here we go. So let's put the condition x is equal to 0, and here we are going to write print as condition is true. Okay, so let's execute this code by pressing F11. Yeah, so condition is true is printed on our console screen, which means that this condition is true as we see that x is equal to 0. So this condition is true. And then the code is going to be executed. If you make this condition false, for example, you make this y, x is equal to 1, but we know that x is equal to 0. So here condition is false now. So let's execute this program. So here nothing is printed on our console screen, which means that the code is not going to be executed. So this is about if statement. This is the syntax of if statement, and this is how if statement works. So let's move towards this and else statement. There we put else statement. So when the condition is false and we want to print some another code, or we want to execute some another code, then we have to write that code in the braces of else. For example, their condition is false right now, so I want to print this on my console string. Condition is false. Okay. So let's print it. Yeah. So it shows on our console screen. Condition is false, which means that as condition is false, the code of else braces is going to be executed. So this code is going to be executed when condition is false. This is all about if else statement. So now we are moving towards switch case. So firstly, we have to understand what switch case is and when we use switch case. Switch case is also a kind of decision making statement and conditional statement. Also comes under the umbrella of condition and decision making statements. So basically, if we use a switch statement when we have so many choices, like for example, in any vending machine, if we want to here there are options so many. If we press 1, it will give the ticket of some movie, for example, movie A. And if we press 2, we got the ticket of movie 2. So we use switch in these type of things. If we press 1, then the code of something is going to be executed. If we press 2, then the code of another thing is going to be executed. But in switch case, there is also one thing which is a default case. Default case is applied when you have pressed any number or anything that is not programmed. For example, you have two cases, so 1 and 2, and you press 3. So then the default case is going to be executed. So let's see the syntax of switch statement. Here we have the syntax. We already write it here. Yeah. So this is the syntax of switch case. These are the cases. Case value 1. So there we write this and this. So this is the default case, and it is a good practice to use braces in each case. Yes, it is a good practice. So we use that to avoid any type of error, because these little things sometimes become a big problem in programming. Okay. So this is our default case now. Here we also put the braces. Yes. So yeah. Yes, so these are the braces or default case also. So let's understand this syntax by practical example. For example, okay. So we have a variable x. In this bracket, we have to put any variable that we are going to follow. For example, we use x, and here the value of x is 1. So as we know that the value of x is 1, then the code of case 1 is going to be executed. So let's see that. Print f. Yes. Case 1. So yes. So the case 1 is printed on our console screen, which means that this code is going to be executed because x is equal to 1. So so the value of x, according to the value of x, the case 1 is going to be executed. Okay. So in the same way, if we put the value of x is equal to 2, then the case 2 is going to be executed. We can create as much cases as we want. So case 3, case 4, case 5, all these things. And if we put any default number or any default value, that is not a part of our switch statement. For example, if I enter x is equal to 3, as we have only two cases, case 1 and case 2. If we press 3, then what's going to be happening? So let's print have, so we can all statement. Okay. So let's press so see that x is equal to 3, and we have only two cases, case 1 and case 2. Because that's why default statement is going to be printed. So which means that the code of the default braces is going to be executed. So this is all about switch case, and this is all about conditional statements and decision making statement, if else, if, and switch case. We can see switch case in more practical way, like that if we initialize x is equal to this, and we write here print f, okay, and here we write enter 1 or 2, okay, and then this is look good now, scan out, and then and we are going to print yes person d, and here and person d and x. Yes. So what we are doing here, we are basically take the value of x from the user. So user will decide which case is going to be executed. So there we write printf within case 2. Okay. So yes, we are ready. So let's press F for that. Fit R. So we have to put any number 1 or 2. So we entered 2. So here we got the result case 2, which means that we choose the case 2. That's why the code of the case 2 braces is executed. So that's why the case 2 is printed on our console screen. This is how case 2 switch statement works, and it is a decision making statement. It is heavily used in programming, in making user interaction phase, and in making a user interface areas. So this is all about if switch statement. So there is one more thing that we don't discuss is break statement. This break statement is going to be learned in detail in our next video of loops, in which we study break and continue statement both. So let's take a little overview of this break statement in this video. Break statement basically do what? It breaks the loop when condition is completed. For example, if I press case 1, so the code of case 1 printed case 1 prints on our console screen, and then it will break the switch statement. If we don't write break here, then what happened? It will also execute the case 2, because as we know that compiler works line by line. Compiler execute code line by line. So it will automatically move towards case 2 to execute this their statement also. So we have to use break in every case. So this is about break statement. So yes, we see the conditional statement, decision making statement, and now we are moving towards logical operators and relational operators. So basically, what are logical and relational operators? These are basically something that we have to understand from this thing. Yes. What are logical operators basically? So logical operators, we have logical AND, okay, logical OR, and logical NOT. What are these things? Basically, they use logical AND when if we have two conditions, we are playing in between two conditions or more conditions, and we applied the condition. Okay, we applied the condition to two or more conditions, and we think that we want to try this. If all conditions are true, then the code is going to be executed. So here the AND logical operator comes. Here this logical operator AND comes. It executes, it allows us to make decision on the basis of two or more statements. So let's say an example. So this, we have to erase all these codes. So yes, so right here, if x was equal to, for example, if x is equal to 0, equal to 1, okay. This is the statement, and we take one more variable, which is y. Okay, so here we are going to take two variables. Okay, so here we write %d y out x. So what is going to be happening here? Okay, so let's come here. So this is here. Now we are going to apply two conditions. So we have to use AND operator because we want this. If the both conditions are true, then the code is going to be executed. So there we applied y is equal to 2. Okay, so this is our condition. Yeah, so here we are going to print s and true. So here we write both true. Yes. So now press F11. Yes. 1 oh 4 6. Basically, what's happening? It only takes our one state. Okay. So basically, we have to write another statement for y. So now let's this thing with x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 2. Then the both the conditions are true. Then this statement is printed both true, which means that it applied both condition. It checks on both condition. Both are true. Then it's going to be executed. So let's try something. For example, x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 6. Code is not going to be executed because one condition is true and one is false, and we are using AND operator between these two conditions, which means that both the conditions must have to be true. Then the code is going to be executed. If we put logical operator, if we use a logical operator AND or which it means that returns true if at least one of the condition is true. It will return true if at least one of the condition is true. So let's put this. Yes. So now let's test this. If x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 6, then both true. Oh, okay. We have to print something else here. At least one true. Okay. 1 and 3, for example. At least one true, which means that the code is going to be executed if at least one true, because we are using it logical OR operators. So this is all about logical operators, and one last operator that we have to see is logical NOT operator. It basically reverses the logical state of a condition. For example, if we applied NOT operator here, so now it becomes x is not equal to 1. This is the condition. X must not equal to 1. Then the condition is considered to be true. So now pressing F11. So if we have to put x is equal to 2 and y is equal to, for example, 7. Here, yes, why it is printed? Because x is equal to 2 and the condition of x is true and condition of y is false. So that's why it prints at least one truth. The code is executed. So here is the condition s is not equal to 1. There is a condition not equal to 1, which means we put x is equal to 2. So the condition of x is true. But x is equal to 2, which means that, and we put y is equal to 7. So y is equal to 2. So this means that condition of y is false. So here this condition is true. That's why the code is executed, because here we use OR operator between these two operators. So this is all about logical operators. Then we are moving toward rational operators. What are rational operators? It is same like logical operators. It basically we use equal to sign. Check if two values are equal. Like x is equal and y is equal to 2. We use this equal to sign when we have to check something. This thing is equal to another thing. Okay, not equal to sign. that we are using here. Okay. So now greater than sign, check if one value is greater than another. Simply put the greater one sign in between the value and the variable. And less than sign and greater than equal to sign, less than equal to sign. These are the simple mathematics sign that we use in our programming. So these are the rational operators. So this is all about this class. I hope you understand this class, and you have to practice these things. These are basically, in these classes we just see the concept of programmings or topics of programming. We are going through the fundamentals and basics and foundations of programming. You have to strong your foundation by practice. You have to practice these concepts. So I suggest you the book Let's See. It is a good book for programming. It has so many exercises chapter wise. In the end of the chapter there are so many questions. You can easily find that book on internet. PDFs are available, so you can find any. It has so many versions. You can find anyone and start practicing questions. If possible, I have included some practice question in description. But you should have to practice these questions. Practice questions from internet websites, from so many websites. There are so many good websites of programming. For example, Programmers and Greek for Geeks, something like that. So these are all websites that have or W3 School. These are all websites that have programming questions, practice questions. You should practice questions from there. So this is all about today's class. Thank you for watching. See you in another video. Happy coding.